If you're on here, you get a little treat. We're going to talk to Bache a little bit about what he's seeing change. For those of you that don't know Medicare Bob, he had built from the ground up after working in a call center, his own call center. It was primarily Medicare supplement for a long time, and then sold a controlling interest of it to AmeriLife. What, a little over about a year ago?
Yeah,
about a year
ago. 20th last year.
And still owns a portion of it and runs it, but then as part of the deal, I believe, took over call center operations for all of AmeriLife, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So his learning curve has been pretty sharp. Somebody that already knew quite a bit, but going into running that many call centers with that aggressive of a business model in kind of a hyper changing time for our industry, I think he's learned a lot. And when I talk to him, I see some of the same things he's talking about, but I think he's getting to see it at scale more than me. So it's interesting to learn about. So Bache, appreciate you being on here, buddy. I know you're in a commute status, so we'll keep it short. What I mean, you just alluded to it, but what do you think is behind this shift to Medicare Advantage? Is it just the acquisition cost is too low to ignore, or what do you see?
Yeah. So I think it's a couple of things. I think at a high level, the Medicare Advantage plans have gotten stronger. I mean, let's just face it, utility bills being paid, flex cards, dental, vision, hearing, low premium, obviously, Part B givebacks. So I think it's a combination of that. I think it's also a combination of the baby boomers that are retiring are used to having health insurance, which is when I talk to a customer, I summarize Medicare Supplement and Medicare Advantage very simply. Medicare Supplement is coverage. Medicare Advantage is health insurance. To me, it's that basic to me. So, do you want health insurance or do you want coverage? And, so if you look at it that way, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, these people, the seniors retiring from, these companies that have these great benefits, the retiree 20 years ago was used to having great coverage, which is why Plan F was, the most popular plan. And I think that the people that are retiring now, in combination with the Advantage plans, getting more funding, getting stronger, better, doctors and provider networks are getting used to how to bill and how to code stuff. And the Advantage plan product itself has improved, I believe, over the last 10 years. I think we'd all agree. And then you put that in combination with these new retirees are used to having copays. They're used to having, I remember when I was on the phone 13 years ago, as soon as I said the word HMO, they said, no, I don't want that.
Yeah.
But I think you would agree. Now when you say HMO, they go, yeah, I have that now.
Yeah.
It's my job. Also access. So the product's better. I think these people are conditioned to having lesser coverage, and also like HMO and PPO and copays are not negative words to them. Like they've had those their last 15 years working. And honestly, man, if you look at Medicare supplement premiums, they're getting expensive. I mean, honestly, in a lot of areas. I mean, I remember when I was on the phone, dude, you get a plan G in Oklahoma for $88, 70, or in Virginia, you get a plan G for $78 10 years ago. Now, I mean, it's, you look at that also in combination with the Part B premium getting a huge hijack, right? What, $170.10 next year?
Yep. Yeah. So,
I mean, that's a lot of money. These people, what was the Part B premium when I got started? Probably, Brock, was it $94.60? Does that sound like a number that it was at one point?
Yeah. When I came in, it was $104 was when I was selling.
Yeah. I'm older than you, which is good.
I think he started a couple years before me.
No, I definitely agree that the evolution of the people's mindset coming off the group coverage has been, they adopt that, like you said, HMO and the copay mindset a lot more. But I also think it's a combination of the fear of missing out. There's so many advertisements being thrown out there, and there's all these extra benefits. And so everybody just wants to know, like, what am I missing out on? And we generalize it by saying extra benefits or additional benefits. And in people's heads, that can mean, a whole slew of different things. And so trying to to get people to realize like you're not really missing out on a whole lot. It's kind of but like I said, I think that's where people are. They're scared they are missing out on them additional benefits.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I got customers that I enroll myself over the last 12 years that I still get text messages and emails. Bob, should I be paying attention to this? Or, am I missing out? And to your point, I think there's also this entitlement expansion. Part of Obamacare was expanding Medicaid to people under 65 and in a lot of states, and so I think, these people are conditioned, and then so there's extension of Medicaid, LIS program has been extended to low income. I think that there's a lot of environmental changes, but I do believe the product has improved. Like, I know Brock, I'm not anti-Advantage plan. I've always said that. I still was actually on Jagger's brand new boat on Sunday, and he told me he had spoken with you, and you guys have something coming up soon. And so I was just talking to him about it, like, and I just told him, I'm like, dude, that like Advantage plans are here to stay. I do think that you're going to see how the leads are generated. Just giving you guys some insight, like that's under scrutiny right now on Advantage plans. Like now, anytime we get a CTM, we have to send where that lead was generated from. So just be on the lookout for that. So I know, which I think is good, because I think there's a lot of practices out there. I think we saw that memo come out. But what's interesting about that memo, memo I'm talking about, the CMS memo that came out like right before AEP.
Yeah.
Like that's not new. Like I see all these people like having videos and all these FMOs like the new CMS. I'm like, this isn't new.
No, it was like a reminder. All it was like a reminder. By the way, don't forget you're responsible for X. And I think the biggest deal with that was that they're saying there a lot of plan sponsors, as they refer to them, which would be your carriers. And then as you go down, an FMO may be responsible for some of what its downline parties do to some degree. And when the reminder is, hey, we haven't forgotten that this is the rule, and you better check yourself before you wreck yourself because we might be cracking down on this stuff in the future more. And I think that's a good thing because, and maybe this is from my perspective, because we were doing things right already to most degree, but there is some shady stuff that happens. I mean, like the Part B give back stuff has gotten a little out of hand in the advertising, I think, because they're advertising it so generally to people that don't qualify for it or that are very unlikely to qualify for it. And then they're not actually trying to help them get the Part B, like give back. Cause I've gone through some of these calls and that originate off of that, and they just go straight into a regular Medicare Advantage plan and ignore the Part B. It's good. Just like those final expense lead cards that would go out and say, fill this out and get a gift card for $10 to Walmart. And then nobody ever gives them the gift card. Some of that stuff does need to be cracked down on. But I want to go back to, the way we've always, tried to present Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement when we talk to people now. I won't say we always did this. I mean, there was a time where I was super anti-Advantage plan, but I was marketing in an area where they weren't popular at all, and I couldn't think of a good like I'm talking about in Mississippi when the only PPO or the only Advantage plan period costs more than a plan in. It made no sense for anybody to be on it. I like the fact that anybody would sell it was criminal in my opinion, but now it's not that way. And, there are some definite reasons that we're doing it. I mean, even my dad, who's pretty wealthy, literally looked at it and almost talked himself into going with an Aetna PPO plan just because, his IRMA is so expensive. He was sitting there thinking, shoot, I can afford it if I have these out-of-pocket expenses, but I'm pretty healthy. He even considered LASSO. So when we talk about it, as I say, Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement is like the battle between good and better. It's not, neither one is bad. So when people are like Medicare Advantage is terrible, it does all this, it's better than most Obamacare plans. And I actually think Obamacare plans are pretty good. So, I mean, healthcare has gotten better over time.
Well, and then I've seen people post like, why in the world would you sell a plan F? Like what?
Yeah.
Like
Convenience. Like I have people, and then, and Bache gets pretty, he was more anti-Plan F than anti-Advantage. But the Plan F argument, like I've had doctors that we've written Plan G for because it's a better value, and even Plan N, we've talked about it, but that have come back. I can remember a couple specifically that came back, called back, and spoke to a different agent in my office and asked them to change them to a Plan F, and said they just never wanted to have to deal with the deductible and they'd rather pay the premiums. So
yeah, but you're So just to defend my statement there, but they I mean, you're talking about two doctors that probably make lots of money, so them
definitely
paying a $500 or $600 convenience fee to not have to worry about the Part B deductible is probably not a lot to them.
Right.
But at the same time, though, look, like I always tell this, there's no bad choice. To your point, it's good and good. Like, I mean, you know, and I think that's the right way to sell. I always tell people the hardest part of making the choice is, you know, which good choice do you want? You know, I don't even say better when I do my T chart, because I just want them, like, you know, and then I kind of do my T chart and I'm like, look, do you want insurance or do you want to pay $130 for coverage? I mean, that's really how simple this can get to in my mind. But like same thing with supplements. Like Westfall and I are like, you know, he's big on Plan N right now, and I'm starting to get there, especially with the Part B increase. But I still love G, man. I mean, it guarantees my healthcare coverage. You know, I can budget that, and I like that a lot. But the reality, you know, when I'm talking to a customer, there's no bad choice between G or N. There's no bad choice. Like, you're going to be in good shape either way. So I think I would agree.
No, I mean, we're definitely primarily G, and we're kind of like, the thing about N is I get why it's a better choice. And I even have some videos out there where I say that's the plan I'd enroll my mother in.
Yeah.
But my dad picked a G. Now, my dad is not the kind of guy that he's going to pick what he wants. My mom's going to do whatever I tell her to do. And so I probably would put her on a Plan N, because I think over time she'd come out better. But, you know, there's definitely, you know, an argument to be made from both. And most of your customers, if you like, my mom's not going to call me and yell at me because she doesn't understand her bills. But some of your customers will, and Plan N is a lot harder to explain why they're paying what they're paying. Plan G is super easy. You pay X, then after that, you know, you don't pay anything.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite lines to use, though. Same as Beige is, you know, when I'm explaining that to somebody and I'm weighing both options, I tell them you can't go wrong either way. But how are you more comfortable? Are you more comfortable paying copays and kind of paying as you go, or do you just want that prepaid, you know, fill-in where everything's taken care of no matter what? So but again, you can't go wrong either way. They're both good, and you got good and better. So it's
and I think when you're
whenever I compare G and N, I always say G guarantees your healthcare costs, N is not fixed.
Yeah.
So you don't know what your healthcare cost is going to be. It doesn't mean it's bad. The other thing is I haven't seen anything, unless you have it, that literally gives me real statistics on Part B excess charges. If I could find that,
I'd have to see where it came from, but Aetna does have a slideshow that says that it's like says what percentage of doctors practice it.
Less than 3%.
But I don't know where they pulled that statistic from, because it just kind of says it in their Plan N slideshow. I'm assuming if Aetna put it in there, they have some data that they're pulling it from. And maybe that's just on their insider history on Plan N, which could be a little bit anecdotal or circumstantial. I don't know. Yeah. And it's old, like that statistic was like, okay, the more people that get on Plan N, or the more people that go, you know, the more things change, the more likely I do believe there are some doctors that will charge excess charges.
Well, I think they even narrowed it down to specific specialties too, saying that dermatologists and rheumatologists are the ones more likely to charge excess charges.
Well, there's definitely specialists that get picked on. Yeah, dermatology, they get picked on by Medicare quite a bit, it seems like. So they're I mean, we've even had dermatologists that they're like the only dermatologist in Tupelo, which makes us sound small. It's like, what?
I don't know how it is in Mississippi, bro. But I'll tell you what, bro. You go to a dermatologist here in Florida, it's a freaking spa.
Oh, really?
Oh, dude, they're trying to sell me, like, my wife. I mean, all of it, bro. My wife and I are gonna look young if I go to the dermatologist, because we're gonna go in there to get a checkup, and we're gonna walk out spending $5,000 on Botox and microgram treatments, all this shit. Like, yeah, dermatologists here in Florida are spas, so I understand why Medicare is not really high on just letting them charge whatever they want to charge.
Yes, there is a need for dermatology, but just like there's probably a need for chiropractic. But if you go to chiropractors, they'll tell you that you can cancel your health insurance now because you're seeing us and you're never going to get sick again, which is crazy. And then they wonder why they're treated the way they are. But and I have friends that are chiropractors. I'm not picking on them. I enjoy going to the chiropractor, but they do try to tell me, like, I mean, I've been to several. I actually had one that told me there's no need for health insurance if you follow this diet plan and you go to the chiropractor once a week. And I said, oh, does it keep you from getting hit by a car? Like, it makes no sense, like the logic that he had. But that's just they're a little bit loony. And dermatologists, I feel like, come from a better place. But yeah, it turns into they can sell so many additional things and make more money that they're probably going to get picked on. Kim actually sent over how many physicians have opted out of the Medicare program from Kaiser Family Foundation article. I was trying to comb through it and see. Yeah, they break it down by, it's like psychiatrists would be pretty high. So I'm gonna have to comb through that article later on. There's a lot of, it's like any article now. They can't just give you the answer. They have they have a damn 3,000 word article for SEO purposes. It looks like it says, though, breaks down physicians have formally opted out of Medicare in 2020 is around 1%. So that would not
out of Medicare, not Medicare. That's not Medicare assignment.
Right. Yeah, that's opt out of Medicare completely. Yeah. So yeah, you can take Medicare and not accept assignment and still charge Part B excess charges. Actually, that 1% of people opting completely out of Medicare is an interesting thing, because it seems like, and Kevin's on here from Washington, but it seems like that's really common up in like Washington state, like closer to the Canadian border and stuff. I don't understand that, why they're weird like that up there. But
well, I always thought it was I've always heard New York City too, like really rich people, like
concierge medicine.
Well, this is being recorded now, but I'm looking at getting my own doctor. Like, yeah. Just honestly, my own doctor. I don't care if he takes insurance or not. I'll pay him, because, the healthcare system, like, I'm just a number when I go to my current doctor. I want someone that's like, now that I got money, I want to live a long time, Brock. So I want to get all the tests, give them all to me. And I want to live. So yeah,
we've done that. So we and you probably do this too. If you live next to some doctors, you get a little bit of special treatment occasionally anyway, like if you're friends with some. So we'll kind of like Tempest has had stitches put in and removed under the table. We've had, so like she tore her calf muscle recently playing tennis, and had like the orthopedic surgeon come into the house to check on her. Like, and that's really from friendship side, but the evolution of concierge medicine is pretty strong right now. That's, people paying getting like they promote high deductible health insurance, and then you pay a monthly premium to have access, and you get like cell phone numbers of the doctors and stuff like that. My dad pays for one. I think he pays like $3,000 a year for his primary care doctor access, but then he still pays every time he talks to him. But it gets him, like, the guy takes on less patients, so he can like text him anytime he wants to and stuff like that. So
you want to get into these sales tips real quick, because I gotta bounce here in a few minutes.
Yep, do it. What do we got? What are we seeing? Sales tips.
No, just so we, as you guys know, we scaled this year quite a bit. We're up to, I think, 70, including annual review, I think 70, 78, 79 LOA agents on the phones. And I had some stuff written down, but I just kind of give you guys some feedback off the cuff. Some of the things that we're seeing on the sales side from agents is, they're detouring off of their presentation. So I always call the presentation the main road, and you want to go on a detour. You want to build rapport, you want to be a person, and you want to answer their questions, but you also want to control the call and get back from the detour and come back to the main road. So I think Brock's smiling because he probably says the same thing. But a lot of the people that a lot of our agents, you know, they don't realize, like, yes, we want you to detour, but you got to come back to the main road, you know, control the call and stay in the presentation and follow the process. Because once you have a proven process that works, you know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. The biggest thing I always find, though, and I've said this a bunch of times, and I'll probably say it until I stop hearing it, is a lot of agents are scared to ask for the close. You know, they wait for the customer to ask to buy. And, you know, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just a lack of like not wanting to be, in quotes, you know, pushy or what. But, you know, we still have agents that, you know, our agents that struggle, you know, and define struggling. Like, you know, I have agents that will do 40 apps this month, you know, but then I have one right now that I just got a Teams message that's writing her 100th app this month, core app right now. And, you know, when that agent asked me, how can that person write 100 and I can only write 40, and I pull the calls, it's very simple. That person writing 100 is assuming and asking for the close. You know, they're asking the person to buy. And I'll say this all the time because I don't think it's ever going to change. Like, you have these people that just don't understand that you're not being pushy. If you've done your job and you find the right product for that person, you're not, it's like going to the gym. I say it all the time. Like, you know, my wife is in much better shape than me, and I'd be even fatter if she wasn't my wife, because she pushes me to go to the gym, and it's good for my life that I go. And yeah, sometimes I think she's being, you know, a jerk about it, or like, you know, but like she's looking out for me, right? So she's pushing me to go. And it's the same thing if you've done your job, you've done your fact finding, you've done your research, and you find the right plan, you're doing someone a disservice by not getting them to sign up. Like, and so many agents will just talk and talk and talk themselves, like literally, because they're just scared to ask. And then it just goes into these longer conversations. And then it's like they're both like on a showdown of, do I ask to buy? Or like, so basically the biggest sales tip I have is still to this day, even though we've scaled, is, you know, don't wait for the customer to ask to buy. Just if you ask the customer to purchase, you're going to get more sales. And you're not being pushy. You're actually doing your job. Like, that's why they're talking to you.
Yeah.
Just do your job.
So why can't you go to your home, ball? So I have a question. I don't know. Didn't prepare you for this, and you may not be able to answer, so we maybe can get back to it. But your highest efficient people, you know, that are going through and doing things the right way. You say, like, you got somebody that can do 100 core apps in a month, and you go back and you listen to it and they didn't do anything wrong, right? What like an efficient phone call, what's about as quickly as a compliant presentation over the phone you think can actually be done? And I say this because a lot of crazy numbers that get thrown around from people. And I'm just curious, like, what's your take on MedSup and Medicare Advantage, like timing, like how long should somebody expect on average to spend on a call, and what's the best case scenario?
So, wait 1 second. I'm switching. I got to walk into my 11 o'clock. Can you guys hear me still?
Yep.
Okay. So that's up 45 minutes, bro. If it's a Medigap to Medigap, maybe even quicker. But if it's an educational pitch like Medigap, you know, 35 to 50 minutes. Medicare Advantage, the presentation itself is going to be 40 minutes, 45 minutes, you know, looking for the doctors, looking for the meds. And then, you know, then the enrollment itself, you know, with the scripting and stuff, is going to be another 30 to 40 minutes.
Okay. So the way that you guys are doing it with the super compliant phone sales concept, you're seeing it probably on a Medicare Advantage call being around an hour, 45 minutes to an hour.
80 minutes. No, an hour and a half. 90 minutes probably.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So this is interesting because
45 minutes.
A lot of times people in person get away with doing it a little bit quicker because, you know, well, it's not recorded. So that sounds bad, but they do. But when you're doing it over the phone, the compliance is so much more heavy. And this is the thing, when I say doing it over the phone, compliantly doing it over the phone, like all the way when you get under the gun and under the scrutiny of somebody like you guys would be. All the stuff you're having to read is taking forever.
Finish it.
So that's interesting, because then you see people saying they wrote 700 Medicare Advantage plans in 48 days or something, and you wonder how in the world is that compliantly possible. Well,
there's also people that are doing rewrites and stuff, and in person. But like the other thing is, don't worry about everybody else, man. Who cares? If they're doing something wrong, it's gonna catch up to them, man. Worry about you. What they eat has nothing to do with what you need to worry about.
Well, what we try to do, and this is, I agree, there's a conundrum between learning what's possible and spotting the people that are full of shit. Because we all want to follow a pace setter that's doing things the right way. So if you say you got a stellar agent doing 100 Medicare Advantage or Med Sups in a month, and they're doing it compliantly, that's a pace setting statistic. So now I'm thinking, okay, from October.
Well, plus, but she's also working. She's also working overtime too, right? So
yeah, but you get somebody like
10 hours a day. Yeah,
you get somebody like my brother Johnny that's working 7 days a week through AEP. He wants to know what should I be doing to be among the best. And there's some people that want to do that, and there's other people that don't, and that's okay. I'm not talking to them necessarily, but for somebody that's saying, okay, if I work my ass off and do the right thing and do it compliantly, where can I land? And I think that 100 MA MedSup goal is around the top of what somebody should expect. So when I have now when you start apps, sometimes you're talking Part D, ancillary, all that, you get some people that are really good at cross-selling and they're doubling their application count like that. So different story. Yep. But anyway, we'll let you go, Bash. We're going to probably do another video with you next week, you and David Manaya. Appreciate you taking some time this morning to get on here, and we'll evolve this conversation further later, buddy.
Always good to see everybody. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. AEP is here, and it's hopefully going really well for everybody. So have a good couple of days, and then you're ready to rock and roll.
That's right.
Thanks.
All right, buddy.
Appreciate you, Bobby.
Talk to you guys later.